One of the first social institutions that have ever existed is marriage. While in college, we make decisions that will influence the rest of our lives. One of these crucial decisions in a student's life is whether or not to get married. Deciding to get married in college is quite challenging. It is all up to you. By the way, a strong partnership requires open communication. Always have a conversation, check in, and make time for that person. To avoid becoming sidetracked from your college work, you should create a schedule and follow it through. Set aside time for vacations and quality time, as these things help keep the passion alive. Subscribe to Best for Brides now to know more about weddings. But the question is how to find that time? Organizing your wedding is a very time-consuming process. It requires many hours of dedicated work. You may need some assistance with your studies to have time for that. When I was short of time as a student, I sometimes decided to pay someone to do my math homework or complete an essay. This helped me focus on other essential activities except for my studies. Try it yourself to see if this approach works for you. Below are additional tips that will help you organize a wedding if you are still a student. Create a timetable and follow it. Create a schedule that is well organized as your first step. If you've never organized a wedding before, your collegiate organizational abilities will come in handy here. It won't be simple or quick to map out a comprehensive strategy that works, but once you do, you're ready to start. Even though it may be tempting, resist the need to change your routine repeatedly. Avoid multitasking as well. Plan everything out in advance. Planning for a wedding is essential, so be sure you're doing it. You might not be able to enjoy your wedding if you plan to have it within the next 2 weeks. Decide on a date, reserve the location, and then try to plan the rest of the event around it. Additionally, planning is crucial for your academic life. You can be unsatisfied with the outcomes and, more crucially, your wedding if you don't know how to work around your schedule and take advantage of your free time. Make a wedding journal. Keeping a wedding notepad was one of the things I did that was most useful when preparing for my wedding. To keep all my planning and research in one place, I purchased a cheap spiral notebook from Walmart and set aside 1 or 2 pages for each topic. Pages of personal research notes and reminders concerning reception locations, flower arrangements, wedding party apparel, cakes, reception playlists, nearby dress rental stores, invitations, to-dos, photography inspiration, registry data, and guest lists can be found in this notebook. Although some might think this notebook tip was excessive, I felt it kept my thoughts and ideas well organized. Make time to de-stress. You will need some me time to prevent yourself from turning into an academic bridezilla with all of the fits, tests, exams, and readings you must do. Remember that you should allow yourself approximately an hour each day to relax and redirect your attention. Do something that brings you joy, whether going to the gym for a brief cardio session, going to the nail salon, or simply cuddling up in bed with a stack of gossip magazines. Do something that makes you happy. A word of advice. During this part of the day, it is strongly recommended that you disconnect from the internet since you do not want your schedule or instructor to bother you. Delegate without hesitation. It can seem overwhelming to arrange a wedding, but don't be afraid to assign chores to other family members and friends. For instance, if you're manually addressing envelopes, you may list names and addresses and provide them to another person. That task is simple and involves little to no judgment about how it ought to be carried out. I had to organize 2 different banquets for my wedding during the coronavirus to accommodate both families and keep crowd sizes small. I trusted my best friend, so I let her handle organizing the pre-wedding day reception. That made it possible for me to concentrate on our wedding's more formal reception. If you're a perfectionist, delegating could sound scary, but if you do it, it will ultimately relieve a lot of stress. Take care not to go over your spending limit. Be wary of going into further debt for your wedding because there's a strong probability that you've already racked up some significant debt to pay for your education. Taking out student loans like the OSAP may make a severe hole in your savings. But so can getting married. Before making reservations for caterers and selecting wedding centerpieces, be sure that you have taken care of expenditures such as tuition, books, and supplies. A helpful hint for those who aren't good enough at managing their finances is that our budgeting tool will become their greatest buddy. Keep your relationship in mind. Remember that your bond with your future husband or wife should come first above everything else when organizing your wedding. Unfortunately, you can feel like all you talk about in the months or weeks leading up to your big day is the planning and preparations. In those situations, it's crucial to take a step back and remember the real purpose of these preparations, which is to celebrate your couplehood. Make time to go on dates with the restriction that is talking about the wedding is not permitted. Get to know one another and help one another. Above all, remember to love one another, and don't let the pressure of wedding planning interfere with your relationship or pleasure. Why getting married at college is a wise decision. As a result of the progression of society, delaying marriage till after the age of 30 now appears to be the standard practice. It would appear that gone are the days when individuals were married while still in their early 20s. On the other hand, there is more than one justification for why getting married at a young age might not be such a poor choice. Even if it makes perfect sense to wait until you've established yourself before getting married, there are circumstances in which getting married sooner might be advantageous. The first thing you need to know is that there is no such thing as the ideal moment. Marriage is a significant choice. When you are 40 years old, you will still be as naive about it as you are now. You will never reach a point when you believe you are ready for it. Putting off doing anything till later will cause you to miss out on opportunities available right now. On the other hand, if you've already discovered the person you want to spend the rest of your life with, it might be time to take the next step. When you are married at a young age, there is no rush or obligation to start a family anytime shortly. Since there is still a significant amount of time left until your wife's biological clock starts ticking, the first few years of your marriage should be spent in happiness without excessive strain about producing children. You can go wherever you wish and enjoy your life to the fullest, regardless of your age. However, when you get married in your late 20s, you give up that freedom. Student wedding. Whether you choose to acknowledge it or not, your 20s are the most eventful years of your life. When it is gone, there is no way to get it back. You have it in your mind that your significant other should also be a part of that beautiful time in your life. Getting married at a young age may open up a whole new world for the couple, one in which they can experience 100 new firsts together every day. Do you want to share your first abroad vacation with the lady you love? Do you want to experience your first day at your dream job? Do you want to experience the day you purchased your first car? Honeymoons are a lot more enjoyable when the couple is still young. You can go out partying and get drunk. You can set out on a day-long hike. And you don't have to worry about acting your age constantly. It is like going out on vacation with your so-called girlfriend all over again. It is thrilling and on the cutting edge. On the other hand, you don't want to be one of those uninteresting couples who can't drink anymore and have no interest in doing anything else. Do you remember when you were a youngster whose dad would always carry you around on his shoulders and how he was your first and greatest friend? Every father desires to provide a happy and healthy upbringing for his offspring. You would like to be the one who teaches both your kid and his future daughter how to ride bicycles and how to play the game of cricket. You have dreams of saving them and being their hero. And it is not something that can take place when you are a middle-aged man with a paunch who is being treated for a new illness every day. You aspire to be the young dad your children look up to and enjoy playing with. Final thoughts. It is not easy to be a student. You have the pressure of having essays, assignments, quizzes, and tests hanging over your head, which is enough to drive any rational person completely insane. If you add the wedding planning, it may all appear to be a bit overwhelming. But you shouldn't give up on the possibility of getting married yet. With enough preparation, You can get your degree and have an unforgettable wedding. Please subscribe to our channel Best for Bride for future updates and visit our website www.bestforbride.com.